Hey everybody, good morning. It's Pete. Welcome to today's episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Friday, May 29th, 2020, and the market's in kind of an interesting spot here. At the beginning of the week on Tuesday, obviously the week started on Tuesday this week, I said it wasn't the greatest time to buy stocks right now. I wouldn't be adding or building new positions. And today and this week, we're kind of seeing that come to fruition. There's a saying on Wall Street that amateurs control the open, but the pros control the close. And we've been seeing some stocks hit resistance and pulling back, some stocks that have been incredibly strong. We've seen some stocks at or near all-time highs that have not been able to follow through. They kind of peak through and come back, peak through and come back. So this week set up a perfect storm of obvious direction, but not great trades. So it's kind of interesting as a lesson. If you found this week frustrating, I use the example, it's not you, it's me. The market this week, you actually needed lower openings today or a flat opening and a push lower to set up some of the better buying opportunities if you're bull only and you like to trade on the long side. Still having a really hard time let me take that back. Having a hard time finding ideas on the short side because as a good trader, as a professional acting trader, whether you're doing it full time or you have your other job, you still want to have ideas on both sides of the tape just in case, because you don't want to be, let's say if the market does turn around, whether that's for an hour or whether that's for 3 weeks, you still need ideas on the other side of the market, because here's the key, and this is a really big reason why a lot of traders struggle. You don't want to short sell strong stocks. You want to short sell stocks that are already weak. So you should have a list or at the very least be culling a list of, market broke out, made new highs, and this stock keeps closing below the open, and it's actually below its 20-period moving average, just for argument's sake, something as simple as that. So what we're kind of seeing here now is the SPY and a lot of the ETFs and some of the bigger stocks, they're opening higher, having this push higher, but then for the most part, staying below the open price almost the entire day. And if they don't stay below the open price, which means that today's order flow, the controlling order flow after the market opens, is seeing selling pressure. So am I sounding the alarm? No, I want to make that clear. What we're actually doing here is we're setting up ideas that have a strong probability to give you money. And again, you don't want to risk a dollar to make a dollar. You want to say, yeah, I could risk that dollar because there's a really good chance I could make at least 3. Just using numbers, right? We're not seeing that right now. We're actually seeing a very frustrating opportunity when the market is opening, pulling back, going sideways, having a little bit of a rally and then pulling back again. So despite the fact, here's the key that I want to make, despite the fact that we keep closing higher and or gapping higher and staying there, there's absolutely signs in the bigger stocks that have been lifting the market, the strength is gone, like the oomph, like in other words, like the last few weeks, even the last couple of months, these lower openings or even flat openings and pushing higher, when they caught a bid, they went really quickly. And it was one of those trades where you didn't feel like you had to work too hard for the initial entry because the buyers were still very clear and buyers were still around. We're not seeing that right now. Now, it could just be the market's tired. It could be that the reasons to be long have diminished dramatically. Honestly, it doesn't matter because you could figure that out. You could make a giant pot of coffee and try and figure it out the entire weekend. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters now is we're seeing very weak follow through, except for a few of these smaller cap stocks that are kind of following through, which, by the way, if you're a student of trading, you know that the small cap stocks are usually the last ones to go. So it's the big cap stocks start to roll over and don't see the bullish move. The ETFs and indices start to roll over a little bit. And when the small cap stocks are still going, it's kind of like the people late to the party are buying the stocks that they can afford at that point. And that's usually not the smart money. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. However, we do have a few trades, and obviously the stock that everybody's talking about right now, or even the company that everybody's talking right now, is Twitter, which ironically the last few weeks it's been looking okay. It's been interesting. It's been getting good volume. We're going to take a look and see, is it a tradable opportunity, and what does all the controversy that's going on right now actually have to do with the stock price? Personally, I mean, they have so many users. I would love to see them be able to monetize what they do the same way that all these other channels do, but the stock's still wallowing in the $30 area. But we're going to take a look at that, and then I have 4 other opportunities that we like for today, actually, and hopefully they can turn into swing trades. So anyway, here's Twitter, and obviously what I really liked about the stock, well, what I don't like is over here, we're seeing all these melted candles, but again, that's March. But now we're starting to see some consistency with the push and the pause, right? We're making higher highs, higher lows. We pause here with the rest of the market for a couple of weeks, and we bounced again. And the stock was actually getting pretty interesting. Now, what's going to be super interesting is we have this pullback, which today is actually an opportunity to buy this stock because, again, pushing a pause, pushing a pause, pushing a pause, pause gets a little extended, we push again, and now we pull back. So I'd actually prefer a little bit of a lower opening and look for signals to bid the stock, probably around the 30 level. I don't know if we're going to get down that far, maybe 30 and a half. And then ultimately look for the 34 to 36 level. So I'm absolutely going to be in the stock. I'm going to be looking to build a position in the stock because it's active right now. And be honest with you, keeping all the politics out of the trade argument here, it could shine a light on the fact that maybe they're really starting to polarize and get their act together as far as how they want to be as a company. And we'll see if that ends up finding some long-term buyers where it's that smart money is actually going to push it. So let's keep an eye on Twitter today. That's my plan for today. I'm looking for a lower opening. I'm looking for ultimately a swing trade to get up to the 36 area. If it opens higher, I'm not going to get involved because then I'm still stuck in like that 32 range. A good example now of a stock that was in my scans that I haven't traded recently, so I want to be fully transparent about that. However, the volume and the price action in the stock has just exploded. Again, it's one of those, I guess you would call it a stay-at-home stock, despite the fact that it's related to sports, right? I love the idea. I love the order flow, but I don't love it now. I need to see the stock pull back, preferably to around the 30 area. I don't know if we're going to get there. It'll probably end up being 32. And then I'm going to look for a $12 move off of wherever it bottoms out and gives me that signal. But I want to make it clear, I don't like the long right now. I like the long pulling back and then looking for a $12 move. So that's DKNG. One of the stocks I haven't watched in a while, Etsy, is forming a pretty nice consolidation here after a pullback. But again, this is kind of the opposite one where it's this stock, Etsy, W, Shop, they've all exploded during the pandemic, but now they seem to be settling in. Volatility pulled back a little bit, but how do you not like that order flow? So the picture gets a little bit different on the weekly chart. Now you can see we actually have 2 weeks of selling, which is perfectly fine considering the size of the move. I mean, the stock went from 28 to 88 during the pandemic, which is even past where it was prior to the pandemic. So you can actually see, well, actually the pandemic's over here, but all-time highs where the stock is now. So it's kind of like trading Maxim, where you have to bid for a stock after it reaches all-time highs, provided the story hasn't changed. And I actually do like this on a pullback, which we just got. So now it's over 80 is where my alert's at. And again, if you look to the left and where the previous move was, we're basically talking about going from 62-ish to 82-ish. So we're going to be looking for a $20 move over 80. So looking for a run to 100 there as a swing trade. Something that I'm looking for as a day trade today, I really like Grub. We are now well offered 2 days in a row, closed below the open, 3 days in a row. So I'm actually looking for a bid around 52 in Grub, and we're looking for what I call a bullish U-turn to make a run back up and hold this into the close. And last but not least, a stock that we're going to have to set our alerts for, which is Lam Research. Lam Research is having a hard time getting over this 280 level. However, you need to set an alert there, very similar to what we had in work. We'll pull that stock up in a minute, and Netflix as well, back a couple of months ago, maybe a month ago. You can't let these trades pass you by. If it keeps knocking on the door, knocking on the door, knocking on the door, eventually when it gets through, it is a really fast ride. So have an alert set for the 280 level in Lam Research, because then we could end up making a run at that 340. So that's really what I have for today. Oh, I wanted to show you that in work, just to give you an example. We kept waiting, and it finally punched through. It happened to punch through and the market got tired, but you can also see the same thing over here. You need to keep these stocks in your list and have a running watch list, despite the fact that the stock might not be a trade idea now, even like DraftKings. DraftKings was really, really solid, obvious order flow. A little extended. I want to see it pull back before I look for that next $12 move. So there's trades you take now, like Grub. We're looking for very specific entry. And then there's other ones that you need to set alerts for, because if they punch through, the last thing you want to do is say, I had the trade, but I missed it. You should be ashamed of yourself. If you have a trade in your watch list and you missed it, that's on you. You need to work the keyboard. You need to have your alert set. You need to be ready. You really want to be an aggressive, active professional. Have a buy stop or a sell stop for 100 shares at that level. So instead of getting an alert, you're actually getting filled, and now it's in your position summary, but only do it at a price that you absolutely love. So in this case here, we were looking for Lam Research to get through that 280 level. It has to be above that level before you look at it. And then when it does, pops up in our summary, and now we decide how we want to trade it from there. So that's what we got today. The market is opening down a little bit. We got the China tension headline back in the news. Obviously, we just discussed Twitter in the news as well. So I think we're going to have some opportunity today, but I do believe the market seems a little bit tired right now. So our quote beginning of the week, we're very stock specific about which stocks are actually following through. The big market stocks that kind of led, especially the NASDAQ stocks, have kind of slowed down, and we're not seeing that vicious buying to the upside. You kind of feel like you put the trade on, like you're struggling to get the thing to move in your favor. I will say yesterday we watched the financials. We said don't buy the financials after two bullish gaps into resistance. Most of them actually opened higher and pulled back yesterday, as we discussed, which just means that we're doing a good job of reading the tape together. Today they pull back. They pull back a little bit more today. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive looking to bid for the next move, because that would be higher opening yesterday, pull back again, one more day pulling back, and I'll be looking to find a spot to buy them for the next swing trade. So that's today's best stock picks. If you find these videos helpful, absolutely click down and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you find them valuable. And if you have something you'd like us to watch, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Any feedback you might want have, or a stock you might like us to see in the future. Anyway, have a great weekend and be safe, everybody. Take care.